Setting up eye tracking in AlphaCore. Hi, I'm Amy Roman. In this video, I will guide you through the initial setup of eye tracking access in AlphaCore. For daily eye tracking setup and positioning, refer to a separate video entitled Caregiver's Guide to Eye Tracker Positioning. Starting with the right setup, which I teach in this video, is essential for success. A caregiver is required for this initial setup, but users can independently adjust eye tracking settings afterwards. Step 1. Turning on eye tracking. Navigate to AlphaCore Settings. The Settings button is found on your keyboard or on your Topics and Tools page. Tap Settings. Select Change Access Method and confirm. Tap Eye Tracking, confirm. The selected method will appear dark blue. Tap the white button in the upper right of the screen. This is the eye gaze monitor and it will turn red. This pauses eye tracking until we have it calibrated for the user. Step 2. Make eye tracking your default and turn on click sounds. Open the Mind Express menu. Go into Settings and then Access. In the Start Up With drop-down, select Eye Tracking. Step 3. Turn on a click sound. In the Mind Express Access menu, select Eye Tracking. Scroll to Indicator Options. Toggle on Sound while selecting. Click OK. Step 4. Positioning and Calibration. Before you begin positioning the device, make certain that the user is comfortable. Position the device screen approximately 22 inches from the user's face. The screen of the device should be parallel to the user's face. Notice in the second illustration that when the user is reclined, the device must be raised up and the top of the device should tip forward until the screen is again parallel with their face. If the device remains low and straight up and down, as seen in the final illustration, the user will be looking down in order to see the screen. As a result, the camera will not be able to see their eyes properly. Additionally, their eyelids may cover too much of their eyes. Once you have the device roughly positioned, select the Access Settings page. Observe the eye gaze monitor in the upper right corner. It should still be red, which means eye tracking is paused. In order to fine-tune device positioning, the caregiver should observe the monitor. The user should try to keep their eyes in the center of the screen, but if they look at the monitor, it will turn white. The caregiver should just tap it and remind them to look away from the monitor for now. Adjust the device position until you see two black dots representing the user's eyes in the center of the screen. The right side of the gaze monitor displays 3 faint lines and 1 dark line. This helps to find the optimal distance the device should be from the user's face. Move the device forward or away from the user until the dark line aligns with the middle short line. If the user prefers the device to be 2 or 3 inches closer or further away from their face, that should be fine. Now, have the user look at each of the 4 corners of the device screen while the caregiver observes the eye gaze monitor to ensure the black dots remain steady or only flicker slightly. If they disappear while the user is looking at a corner, this means the device should be slightly repositioned until the dots remain fairly steady black. when the user gazes at each corner. Once you have achieved this proper positioning, you're ready to calibrate. Calibration enables the eye tracking camera to accurately interpret the user's eye movements. A user or caregiver will select the Calibrate button on the Access Settings page. During calibration, a user's head should remain still while they look at the points that will appear across the screen. But if their head moves a little, it should be fine. When calibration is complete, you will see the results of the calibration. Green and yellow circles are fine. If there is an orange circle, do the calibration again until all circles are green and yellow, and no long lines appear outside of the circles. Each time you do a calibration, the software only accepts the new calibration points if they are better than the previous attempts. So don't be concerned if a subsequent calibration is not as good. If a caregiver is helping, you can use a special Improve Calibration method within the Mind Express menu, which enables the caregiver to select specific points to improve. Users will want to recalibrate if targeting items becomes less accurate. Some users find they rarely need to recalibrate, but others need to recalibrate often when they are repositioned or when lighting changes. Step 5. Choose a way to select items. Eye tracking is akin to moving a mouse and enables you to target items. With a mouse, you click in order to select items you have targeted. You will need to choose how to select the items you target with eye tracking too. 3 options are available: Dwell Select, Switch Select, or Blink Select. Dwell selection enables you to select your targeted item by simply maintaining your gaze on the object for a set amount of time. Switch selection involves using a movement of a body part to activate a switch, which can be placed anywhere the user is easily able to produce a movement. Blink selection requires that the user maintain a blink just a little longer than an involuntary blink to make a selection. I will give you some pros and cons of each of these 3 selection methods and guide you in setting each up. Dwell selection. Dwell selection is the default selection method when eye tracking is first turned on and is ideal for users who cannot move other parts of their body. It also has the potential, with some practice, to be the fastest of the 3 selection methods. It does take a little getting used to, since anywhere you look, you begin the selection process right away unless you pause eye tracking by gazing at the pause button, which also contains your eye gaze monitor. Once paused, you can look anywhere without selecting an item. Mastering the use of the pause button, found adjacent to your message window on each page, is crucial for relaxed and confident use of dwell selection. You can decide how quickly or slowly selections are made by adjusting dwell times. Go to your Access Settings page. I recommend you increase the dwell times when you are learning how to use dwell selection. Next to keyboard dwell time, use the plus button to increase to 1200 milliseconds or 1.2 seconds. People often like the dwell time for their topics pages and prediction buttons to be a bit longer, since reading words and messages takes longer than looking for keys. Increase these to 1500 milliseconds each. You will likely return to the Access Setting page to adjust these dwell times, especially as you become familiar with using dwell selection. Switch selection. Switch selection is suitable for those with the ability to move another part of their body, even slightly, especially if dwell selection is not working well or is causing stress. There are a wide variety of switches available that can be activated by a slight movement of a body part. To determine which switch works best for you, an experienced clinician will often need to evaluate which, if any, switch will work for you and how it should be positioned. A switch must be connected to your device before you change it to switch selection. To turn on switch selection, go to the Access settings and select the Change to Switch or Blink selection button. Select Switch On. Select Dwell Off and confirm that you want to turn Dwell selection off. There are typically no special settings for switch selection, so this is all you need to do. Blink selection. While fairly intuitive and easy to use initially, blink selection can become fatiguing for many users. To turn on blink selection, go into Settings, Access Settings, and select Change to Switch, Blink, or Dwell selection. Turn blink selection on by selecting Blink On. Select Dwell Off and confirm that you want to turn Dwell selection off. Some switch users turn blink selection on as a backup in the event that hitting their switch becomes fatiguing. Both can be on at the same time. The default settings for blink selection work for most users, but if you want to make changes to the required amount of time your eyes must be held closed, you will need to go into the Mind Express menu. You'll select Settings, then Access, select Eye Tracking, and scroll down to the blink timing sliders. Here you can make adjustments. Step 6. Choose your keyboard. Your speech therapist may have recommended an AlphaCore keyboard for you. If not, select Settings and change keyboard. Here you will find an eye control test, which upon completion recommends a keyboard. Alternatively, start with the QWERTY Standard, QWERTY Large Keys, or Smart Backspace keyboard, which work well for most people using eye tracking. I will choose QWERTY Standard. Step 7. Practice eye tracking. Once you select your keyboard and selection method, try the following to practice and determine if you have the best combination. On your keyboard, start with the letter Q and type each letter once from left to right in each row until you reach the M. If that was successful, try to type your full name. If you are struggling, you may need a keyboard with larger buttons or an adjustment to the dwell timing. When using dwell selection, remember to select your pause button whenever you go to a new page so you have time to look over the page at your own pace. I hope this tutorial was helpful. For written instructions, refer to the AlphaCore guide. I hope you enjoy using AlphaCore.